A little metaphor and music there, fly like an eagle. Well, we're going to carry the flying theme right on through this next segment here and talk about how flying very much might mirror a successful and happy life for you if you just stop and think about it for a few moments. Pamela Hale joins us this morning. She's a life coach, an author, a lecturer, and you've written this beautiful book called Flying Lessons. And if for no other reason than it's just a beautiful book to read and to look at, that would be wonderful. But it's so much more.
I hope so. Thank you.
Now, when you're coaching people and how to be successful, when did it occur to you that your love of flying might be the perfect metaphor to help them through their life?
Well, I think it occurred to me before I was doing a lot of coaching of them. It occurred to me when I watched the two voices inside my head, one the whiny, neurotic one that was full of fear and self-doubt, and the other one that my flight instructor, Cleo, was trying to impart into me, which was the voice of confidence and reason and hope and all those other things. So I try to help my clients listen to that one rather than the first one.
And kind of just give folks an example of how this works, because I don't want to give away the whole book, but once you get the idea of the connection between flying and your life, you can almost write your own book, which is, I think, what you want people to do.
Exactly.
You want them to write their own chapters.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Just give us just some little example.
Well, maybe the best example is just to ask the listeners to think of what we're all in unexplored territory right now. The planet's going through a lot of shift. Everybody's going through a lot of changes in their lives on every area. And so what's a challenge that you're facing right now? And what would flying look like? If you could soar through that challenge, what would that look like? And what would that feel like? And so the 7 lessons, I believe, that flying is actually just a matter of practice, as it was for me in an airplane. And so the 7 lessons that are in the book are ways to practice that soaring in your life.
Yeah, you talk about things, well, just having the courage to go ahead and take off to start with. But, things like, what does your safe landing spot look like?
Right.
So I know when my family, my father flies, my brother flies, I've done a little bit of it myself. When you're up there flying and you're enjoying the ride, you're still always looking around. In case something goes wrong, where would I set down?
That's right.
In case there was an emergency, in case things didn't work out the way we planned.
That's right. In case the engine failed, God forbid.
Right.
And so in your life, you might take that same challenge that you're thinking of and think, what if everything fell apart? What if everything really fell apart? Where would you land? It's just a good fire drill, to mix metaphors. It's a good to have that safe landing space. And I think what the book goes into, the book is a spiritual book, really, not a religious book at all, but a spiritual book, because it's urging you to make that safe landing space something eternal, something lasting, something interior, not something like your bank account, because we know that those are subject to erosion and all kinds of situations.
Well, again, folks, you're going to love it if for absolutely no other reason than it will just get you thinking about your life in much more expanded and, I don't know how else to describe it in beautiful terms, because everybody's going somewhere, everybody's on some kind of a journey, and there's no reason why it shouldn't be like a wonderful flight, just the way you describe it in here. But you've augmented this with these beautiful pictures that you've taken. So photography, is that a hobby or a passion?
Well, in a former life, I have had a few lives within this one already. I'm a grandmother of 5. So in a former life, I did have a photography studio and taught photography. And so these are aerial photographs I've taken throughout the West. I might add, while my husband was in the left seat and I was in the right seat at that time.
You were flying co-pilot when you were taking the pictures. Okay.
Yes, right. So I like to say that people are getting a coffee table book for the price of a paperback. Because
yeah, I think, okay, so I was right when I was looking at this book, thinking this is much prettier than your motivational books and that type of thing. There's much more going on here. Now, to add another dimension to this, explain shamanism.
Oh, in the moments we have left.
Yes, we have about a minute left, which is a whole other dimension to this, because you say it's not a religious book, but it is a spiritual book.
Yes. I think the easiest way to explain it is to think of the cultures that are ancient and the indigenous or native people all over the world who have perfected healing powers for themselves, for their community, and for the planet. And it's not that we want to go back to the tribal societies, but there's a lot that we have forgotten in our culture that we can learn from these ancient peoples, and there is some of that wisdom in this book.
And you'll find that woven in there as well. It's called Flying Lessons. Pamela Hale, again, a beautiful book. Like she says, a coffee table book for the as a bonus. But some wonderful lessons in here. You're going to be speaking today up in Rancho Santa Fe?
Yes.
At 11 o'clock at a luncheon there.
Women's Wisdom. It's a monthly, I believe, club, and it will be at the golf club there, and I believe you can still appear.
Yeah, folks, if you're going to show up at the Women's Wisdom luncheon today, it is 11 o'clock, and Pamela will be speaking. Just know that you can pay for your ticket at the door, and you are more than welcome. We'd love to see you out there. Pamela, pleasure meeting you.
Nice to meet you, too.
You still like to fly?
I love to fly.
Me too. Good to see you.
Thank you.
All right, still to come this morning. Fashion for a good cause. This morning we're getting a preview of the Country Friends Art of Fashion runway show. We're coming right back.